Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Athletic School podcast. Today, our guest speaker is Maddy Murphy. She's a part of the soccer team at Eastern Kentucky, a Division One university in Richmond, Kentucky. Maddy played 52 games in the last 3 years and helped her program achieve the conference final last year. Maddy, thanks for joining me.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So tell me, what does it take to become a D1 athlete? We have so many universities out there. I know you've been playing soccer for a while. Um, I know you worked at X Factor before as well. So what does it take to become a D1 athlete?
Yeah, I think it takes a lot more than like people expect, and I don't think you really like understand until you get there and you're like, "Whoa, this is a lot more like work than like you can imagine." And it kind of takes a lot of just like dedication and like really like love for the sport because if you don't really love the sport, then you're not going to want to wake up early or go to practice every day, and you just really have to love the sport. And it also takes a lot of time management, and you have to like manage like getting to practice, going to meetings, and going to class all at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense. And how has your mindset changed over the last 3 years playing a D1 level? You were a freshman, now you're becoming a senior soon. How has your mindset changed?
Yeah, I think my mindset has definitely gotten stronger because freshman year, like I feel like it's kind of like an adjustment period, and you get there and you're not expecting it to be like, so much work, and you're away from your family and you're living on your own for the first time. And so I think that can either like for me at least it like was kind of a shock, and like I think that can either like make or break like your career, because if you can like push through that first, like for me the first semester was so hard, and I just remember like calling my parents and being like, I can't do this, this is so much more than I thought, like because we had to wake up like really early, like we always have like the 6 a.m. lifts spot, and so we'd be waking up at like 5:15 like 4 days a week, and I was just not used to that, and it was kind of hard at first, but my parents were like, okay, just give it a whole year and you will be fine. And I was like, yeah, I really love soccer, so I'm not just gonna give up just because it's a little bit hard. And I'm glad that I just stuck with it because you get used to it and it becomes like really fun. Honestly, like now I like can't wait to go to lift and practice with my teammates and stuff.
Yeah, would you say that that was your biggest challenge over the 3 years that you were there, or is it there something else that was bigger than that for you?
Last season I got hurt, or sophomore season I got hurt, and I was like I played the non-conference games, but then the whole conference I was out, and then like I played like maybe one tournament game, and so I think that being injured was probably the hardest time for me at EKU, because it's just like um it's hard to sit on the sidelines and like watch your teammates be practicing and stuff, but I also think that was like maybe one of my biggest growth moments, because I kind of became more like faithful during that time, and I started turning to God, and I was like, okay, God, like what are you like, why am I injured right now? What could I like grow from this? What could I gain from this? And it kind of like shifts your perspective to be like, okay, instead of being like, oh, I'm hurt, I can't do anything, like this sucks so bad, I'm waking up early just to sit around, you can look at it like, okay, like I get to go lift up my teammates and like push my teammates and be like a light on the team, even if you're not like playing, like there's still stuff that you can do.
hmm Is that something that you kind of came up with by yourself, or it was like your teammates were helping you? Maybe your coaches, your parents. How was for you to come up with that conclusion that like, okay, let me go back to my faith and maybe talk to God?
Definitely my teammates. I remember like two of our captains, they would always be like, we have this thing called FCA. It's like Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and they're like, guys, come to this FCA meeting. Like it's gonna be so like good for you. Like it's all like athletes talking about God and stuff. And I was like, I mean, I said I believed in God, but I didn't really like pray or like anything, and I didn't have like a strong relationship with him. So I would just, just I wasn't like doing that. And then once I started going to FCA with them, it kind of like they helped me change my perspective on that.
And then when it comes to playing, any sports, we make mistakes. We go through times that we are not playing our best. So how do you handle the self-doubt and self-criticism from your own self?
So that actually was I kind of like struggled with that this season, but we're so like blessed and lucky to have this team therapist, and she, like, my best friend meets with her, and like she would always be like, "Oh, you should go see her. She's just so nice to talk to." And I was like, I don't really need to. Like, nothing's really going on like that I need to talk to her about. But then during the season, I'd be in like a game, and I'd be like I'd just start having these self-doubting thoughts and be like, oh, like, what if I mess up this pass, or like, oh, what if I mess up this shot? And then I'd start messing up, and I was like, okay, like, before this gets out of hand, I should just probably go at least tell this lady what's going on. And she was so sweet, and she was so nice, and she just gave me like this book that like you can like read to like, help with like your mentality and like self-doubting and stuff. And she gave me like these like visualization tactics and stuff like that. And yeah, I think if you are struggling with self-doubt, like, I feel like most schools like have like a therapist that you can go to that will help you like, get over it.
Yeah. What was the book?
I'm trying to remember the book, but it was something about like just, changing your mindset and like different ways to just like recenter your focus and like just remain calm and composed.
hmm so going over that, what do you do to prepare for the game? Is there a game routine that you like to follow, or it just go with the flow?
So I'd say we always eat as a team, so you gotta have like the good pregame meal, and then probably listen to some music and, relax, listen to music, and also talk to my teammates, because I feel like if you get too like overthinking and too like on edge, like, it's kind of good to just like remain like chill, remain calm, like normal, and then yeah, just relax and be excited to play in this game.
And what kind of music are you listening to? Something to make you relax, or something like to pump it up a little bit?
I don't know. I really love all types of music. Like, it could be like literally anything. I love Kid Cudi, or like even some worship music. I don't even know. Just literally anything. But yeah.
Is there like, do you have anything like, do you put the first right sock first or the left one, or it doesn't really matter to you?
I put my left sock and then my right sock and then my left shoe and then my right shoe. So, and then I also tie my left shoe and then tie my right shoe. But yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, like shirt, jersey first, or like, I don't know. Is there anything like that? Because I've seen people like put the jersey first, and I was like, you're just insane. Like,
Nah,
how
that's
I think the jersey is the last one.
the jersey's definitely the last one. But well, yeah, because we warm up in like a warm up shirt and then we change to the jersey. So I guess it's the last, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm glad you guys do that. Otherwise, I would start questioning
I
your
know.
methods to win, because that would be different. Um, so a lot of the people that are listening to us are athletes, and I think for anyone that is in high school, or any high performance athletes, they want to get to the highest point that they can, and that might be going to college and playing NAIA, might be going professional, or D1, which is like, for me, when I came from Brazil, the biggest goal was to go D1, just because everything that I ever saw, um, didn't play D1, but I got to experience some of the things that I wanted to experience. So what's an advice that you would give to people right now that maybe they're about to become a freshman? What's an advice you would give it to them, just in general, about life, about soccer, about academics? Just a random advice that you might have for them.
I think they just gotta really like, when they're like, if they get there and they're starting to like have some tough times, you just have to really remember like why you're there, because you love soccer. You wouldn't have accepted this team if you didn't love soccer, and you just have to remember that, like, instead of focusing on all the bad things that are happening, just like, you can get through literally anything. So if you focus on the good and all the positives, I think that um you will be fine, and you can just focus on that. But like with school, like, sometimes it can be hard to manage school and soccer at the same time, And I feel like freshman year, you kind of have to get like used to like, okay, like homework will probably be due on like one day, on like a Sunday or like a Friday. And so it's very easy to like just put it off until the day before it's due, and then have to do all the homeworks in one day instead of the whole week. And yeah, just try not to procrastinate that. Like instead of like, okay, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, maybe do a little bit of homework and then go hang out with your friends.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like, especially during the fall, because of soccer, your social life kind of goes away because you have to do all those things? Or do you think it's important to find the time to, like, yeah, let me go hang out with my friends today because I just can't do homework anymore? Or you are you the type of person that, like, no, I'm just here for soccer, and to do homework right now, I'll hang out with my friends over the spring or over the summer?
Freshman year, I definitely was more of like, okay, like I need to go hang out with my friends, whatever, whatever. But then, like, I think you have to have moderation, because the more like locked in you get with soccer, like I had a much better year this year, just, doing my homework, going to bed early, like having a little bit of fun, rather than freshman year doing my homework all on the last day and, hanging out with people like all during the week. So I
Hmm.
think it's all in moderation.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think the having a team that you can hang out with, not only go
Yeah.
to practice, that helps a lot. And I think it's just we are humans, and then we are meant to be interacting with each other. And I think it's complicated when we don't. When I moved here, just like you said, the first week I remember I was calling my mom and I was
Yeah.
crying. I was like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
It's way too far.
Yeah.
And like I can just drive back home and you know what I mean, and just
Yeah.
go see them and come back. Like, no, I have to stay.
Yes.
And I was in the middle of nowhere, and then they put us like in a dorm just for preseason, and it was not the best. It was kind of dirty, to be
Yeah, that
honest.
happened to me. That happened to me as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I was like, that's not what I saw on YouTube that people were experiencing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely thought about going back. My mom was like, "Look, try a little longer,
Yeah.
but if it doesn't work, you can come back." But I think we definitely grow a lot um, when we try to push things through a little bit. Um, and you've been playing soccer for a long time now, I'm assuming, to get to the point that you are. What's one lesson that soccer has taught you?
One lesson that soccer's taught me is probably to just never give up, because I feel like it's so easy to give up. Like what we were just saying, like, okay, you get there, it's hard, you don't like where you're living, or you don't have any friends yet. Like it's just like a whole different like experience than if you were to just keep up with it and just keep going with it. And then in like a month, you have so many friends and you're having fun. You just can't give up. You got to keep going no matter what happens.
Hmm. Did you play any other sports growing up, or just soccer?
I played basketball in like sixth grade, but that's about it.
Yeah. Do you think that? I just think it's a big debate when people play other sports, because there's those people that will say like it's good so you don't get burnout. On the other side, you have people that say like you're just kind of like wasting your time. You could be improving the sport that you really want, but now you're going to play, I don't know, volleyball, and
Yeah.
that won't definitely help you becoming a better soccer player if soccer is the one that you wanted to go to. What are your thoughts? Do you think playing multiple sports help, or do you feel like just playing one is the best idea?
I think maybe when you're like growing up, like in maybe like elementary school and like maybe halfway through high school, I think that that's good. Like, have a different um, group of like sports you can play. But I think if you're like really serious about wanting to play soccer in college or a specific sport in college, then I think once you kind of get like into your second half of high school, you kind of have to focus on that if you really want to be the best that you can possibly be. Because if you're giving 50% here, 50% there, then you're not giving your all to one thing. But it depends on what you really love and what you want to, do.
Hmm. Makes sense. Um, how do you want your teammates to remember you? I know you have good relationship with your teammates. So how would you like them to remember you?
My teammates are literally the best people ever. They're just so nice and we have so much fun and like there's no one like cuz sometimes on a team you can have somebody who's a little bit mean or like a little bit like bossy like in a bad way, but like everybody is just like good in their own way, and I'm so happy at EKU because everybody's like that. And yeah, I don't know. I would want them to remember me as somebody who's, puts them first and is kind and nice to them and, supports them and lifts them up.
Hmm. Nice. You talk very good about your teammates, and I think in a lot of what do you think is the difference between your team, the relationship that you guys have on your team, than other places where people just maybe don't like their teammates? Just because I feel like, for example, and I would say more, I was a goalkeeper, and for me, like there's only one goalkeeper, and if we have three on the team, like yeah, we can be friends, but at the end of the day, like I want to play, you want to play, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of uh space for both of us. It's like it's mainly you or me, and there's not a, a way around that. And I think, there's people that might like each other and just literally be friends on the field and off the field and support each other always. But there's people that they might not like each other because they think of each other as enemies in a way. Um, what do you think makes your teammates so good? Why does the girl that doesn't play good um, doesn't hate the girl that plays better than her, or maybe just get more playing time? What are your thoughts?
Um I think that it kind of like stems down to like who like they are as people. Like if
Mhm.
you're a more selfish person or, you're like you have a big ego and you think like, "Oh, that should be me out there. I should be playing. Like I can't believe that they're scoring goals. I'm on the bench." Like you're just you're going to like people are going to see that like, you're going to and it's going to cause like rifts in the team. And I think that like everyone on my team does a good job of like accepting their role and like realizing that if we want to have success, like it's not all about, one person and like yourself. Like if there's somebody that's better than you, you kind of just have to accept that, they're playing and the only thing you can do is just get better on your own and put in even more work than they're putting in.
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a growth mindset. I love that. Um, one question that I always ask the guest speakers is, what's one thing you would share with the world? Anything. It can be soccer related, life related, whatever you want it to be.
Probably just trust in God and like lean on God because when you're trying to do it all on your own, it's just so much harder than if you have like a faith that just can bring you peace and happiness and joy and it like people can see it as well. Like it'll make others happy and you're serving others instead of just, serving yourself and caring about yourself, and it just is a lot less like anxiety
Hmm.
living.
Yeah. You said that you believed in God before, but then when things got harder, you turned to God again. When your teammates were sharing the group with you, um, do you think that God gives us a hard time first, and then in order for us to like create a connection with Him?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on God giving us a hard time first, then giving us like a better time?
For sure. I think that's 100% like a thing that he does because I wasn't ever thinking about God. Like I wasn't like maybe like if there was like an emergency, like I was like, God, please save me, like I need help.
Yeah.
That would be the only time I'm thinking about God. And I think he just, he if he didn't make me, get injured, which a lot of people would be like, "Oh, like if God was real, why would I get injured? Why would this bad thing happen to me?" But it's like sometimes if you're not, talking to God or looking to God, like that's the only type of thing, like a bad thing, like that's the only type of thing that will make you turn your attention to him and like because you have nowhere else to go. So yeah, I think it's for sure a thing that he does. And I'm glad that it happened, even though it's a bad thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that happens first for us to change our mindset and then realize
Yes.
what we have to do in order to improve. Um, Maddie, thanks so much for sharing a little bit of your mindset. I'm sure that people that are listening to us will get inspired. I think it's like the reason I decided to bring you here is because I I saw you, I met you, and I knew a little bit of your story, and so I was super interested in learning more. Like, okay, what does it take to get there? You know, what's the mindset look like? And and I think there's no right or wrong mindset. Of course, there's positive things, and and negative things that we can choose when we're thinking about mindset. There's the growth mindset, the fixed mindset. Um, but in general, I think you are successful the way you are with the mindset that you are. It doesn't mean that it works for me, but it means that it can help me and maybe it can help other people too. So I really appreciate you sharing a little bit of that.
Thanks so much for this opportunity. This was so cool and so fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.
All right, I'll see you soon. Thank you.